All right, everybody. So we are going to go ahead and get logged in so we can start Photoshop today. I'm already logged into my Google account, my MS Tech Ed student account. You can either click the link on the assignment, or you can go to launchpad.classlink.com, which gets you to here. We're going to go ahead and click Adobe and Photoshop as well. And you can see that I'm zoomed out a little bit. It's a little smaller than normal. I have the zoom set a little bit smaller. So this probably worked really well for those of you using a Chromebook. So just be patient with this opening here. You will likely have to log back in, so don't get too excited about this. It's annoying, but it is what it is. If you don't log in with an enterprise ID, that's okay. Well, let's try it without that. Let's see what it does if we don't do it with the enterprise. Oh, sorry, I'm using my wrong address. Let's see if it picks up that I'm a student. I don't know why you have to do it twice here, but you do. And it's probably going to make us, yeah, these are hard. I have a tough time telling what these are. I don't know if that's a T or an R. Let's see. Did I do it? Yes, I did it. All right. And go ahead and put your password here. And we are almost into Photoshop. We are into Photoshop. There you go. So you can see that mine's a little bit smaller here. Again, it's because I've gone up here and I've done zoom. So you guys can play around with that if you like. Zoom it in, zoom it out. And now we're ready to go ahead and start our assignment. All right, everybody. So we are going to be opening our Photoshop Assignment 3. You can see that I've pushed this out to you. This is the assignment actually right here. Please don't click this to open it. Instead, the process to open it is to, of course, log into Photoshop via Cameo, which you guys are pretty good at this point. From here, we're either going to click File, Open, or you can click Open down here as well too. That works equally as well. We're going to browse to My Google Drive. We're going to browse to Classroom folder. We're going to find your Tech Ed folder. So it's going to be one of the 7th grade Tech Ed folders. You should only have one. I have a bunch of them, but it's this one for me. And then the image that we are looking for, this actually says, you can see it as I roll over it here, DWT Wheels Tire Studio 2. So the image that we are looking for is this MS Tech Ed DWT Wheels Tire Studio 2. You guys are going to just be patient while that opens. And there it is right here. One other quick thing to remember, if your layers palette is not showing up over here before we proceed forward, just go to Window and Layers. For some reason, that disappears occasionally. All right. One other thing too, if you haven't done this yet, Edit, Preferences, Edit Preferences and Tools, and you want to make sure that Zoom with Scroll Wheel is clicked, and say OK. That allows you to be able to zoom in and out with the little scroller wheel if you have an external mouse. So we are ready to go ahead and jump into this assignment.
So we've got this image right here. And this image has a couple of things that are really wrong with it. The tires look really good, but the background looks pretty terrible. So that background's supposed to be white and not have any of these wrinkles on here. I'm going to show you guys how to fix it. Now, one of the tools that we're going to use for this is if you go down, which one is it? I'm on a Mac here right now, so it's showing up a little differently for me. So it's actually 4 tools down. If you click and you hold this button down, the magic wand tool, looks like a little pixie wand. So if you click that, that's the wand, that's the tool that we want. You're going to notice up here it says tolerance of 32. So I want to show you guys what happens. The whole deal going on here is when we click with that magic wand tool, notice how it selects a group of colors here, right? That is all based upon the tolerance that we have. So at 32, depending on where you click, like if I click over here, see it'll select some different stuff. If I click here, it'll go back and select different things. It depends on where you click and what you click and what the tolerance is. So at 32, that's what I get. If I put it at 100, look at that. It selects almost everything. The problem with that is if I hold the Alt and the plus sign down, I can zoom in. The problem with that is that these little nubs that are on these tires, it doesn't do a great job getting those. So I'm going to zoom it back out a little bit, and I'm going to go back in and I'm going to choose, instead of a tolerance of 100, I'm going to choose a tolerance of 10. Now, when I click here, you'll see that 10 doesn't grab a whole lot, but what it does grab, it does an awesome job at selecting between the background and the actual tire right here, right? But it doesn't select a whole lot of stuff. So what we have to do is we have to turn the tolerance down to a lower number to make it really picky. And then what we can do is just hold the Shift key down, and with the Shift key held down and clicking again, we can add to that. So check it out. I'm just going around here. I'm going to do the best job that I can adding to this selection right here. Now, notice it disappeared. If I go to Edit, Undo, Edit, Undo, I actually deselect it. When I held the Shift key down, I clicked out of here and it made it disappear. I didn't want to go back through and have to do all that work, so I just did Edit, Undo, and it stepped me backwards. So let me try and hold Shift and do this again. I'm clicking and adding to it. I'm just doing the best job that I can about selecting as much as I possibly can through here. All right. Now, another thing I don't want you to forget is right in the center here. This is actually the background. So we want to get inside of there. Now you look at this and you're either thinking I did an awesome job or I have no idea how good of a job I did. I'm going to show you how you can tell. If you come down here and click this tool right here, this is called the Quick Mask tool. That will highlight what you did well and what you did not do well. So as you see here, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that there are some red spots that I didn't do a very good job of grabbing. So what I could potentially do is I could turn this back off, and I could hold the Shift key down, and I could just the Shift key down, and I could click on here and it would add to it. That's one way I could fix it. Another way I could fix it is turn the Quick Mask back on, and anywhere where it's red, I can find this eraser tool. Here's the eraser tool right here. Yep. And that's a pretty big brush. So if I go to a smaller size brush, maybe like a 5. Sorry, there we go. Nice small brush. I can get in here and I can erase that. And the whole purpose of erasing it is that I can take away the areas where I didn't want it to select. So when I click that back on, check it out. It works really nicely. So let me show you a little example. Let's say I want to erase a smiley face, the Kool-Aid man. Your parents would know what that means. Anyway, when I you ever see him bust through the door, then you would know. When I turn this back off, this looks like this. The other thing that you can do is instead of the eraser tool, you can use the paint tool. And as you paint over stuff, it takes that area that was now deselected and it reselects it, right? So the whole purpose of this is turning this Quick Mask on is so that you can do an awesome job. And you got to go around here. This is, if you've ever wondered what the definition tedious means, this is pretty much it. Just going through here, and I want to make sure that I'm getting as close. Whoops, I have the wrong one. I want the eraser tool. Where are you at? Right here. I want to get in here as best as I possibly can, and I don't want to erase the tire, but it's okay to have some of the shadow in there. It's tough to tell the difference between where the tire ends and the shadow begins. So this is more like an art than a science, right? You just got to kind of figure this out and do the best job that you can. And I'm going to leave some stuff that's not so good on here too to show you what happens if we don't do a good enough job. So let's say we've got it perfect and everything's the way we want it to be. We turn the quick mask back off. Now check this out. I want to make this background much lighter because it is supposed to be white and it's not white. There was an issue with the photo when it was taken. So if I go up here to Image Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast, if I take the brightness and I ramp the brightness up, it's only going to change the stuff that is selected. It shouldn't mess with the tires. So if I go to the left, it makes it darker. See how it's making the background darker, but it's not changing this. If I go to the right and I make it brighter, it's just lightening the background. It's not changing the tire. So let me show you again. Image Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast. All you should have to do is ramp the brightness all the way up and say okay. And I'm going to do Select and Deselect. And if we zoom in down here on the bottom, you can see on the right side I did a much better job than I did on the left. You can see how it sticks out like a sore thumb, where we didn't do a great job. Now the good news is if you didn't do a great job, you can back it up. I can go to Edit, Undo, Edit, Undo, Edit, Undo, and in here I can actually go back in and I can re-erase. I can fix the stuff that I didn't do a great job fixing. I can fix all of this, and I can make that work. And then when I'm all said and done and I have it back to where I wanted it to, I can turn the quick mask off. I can go to Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast, and I can ramp that brightness back up, right? Now, in order to turn this selection off, let's say we're totally done now with doing that. We're going to go to Deselect, Select and Deselect. There's one little thing that's left here that we've got to fix. And that one little thing is this dust particle here. The perfect tool that we can use is the cloning stamp tool that we used the other day. So if you pick that cloning stamp tool up and you want a hard-edged brush like this, that's pretty good. And we probably are going to have a little bigger one. It's not showing up on here. Sometimes that happens, but that's okay. I'm going to do Alt, click right next to it, and I got too big of a brush. It's not showing up on my screen. Photoshop does that sometimes. It just happens. Let me Alt click here. When I roll over it and paste it, there it is. It's all fixed. So I have to go really quickly here because I only have about 2.5 minutes left in this video. I can only make 15-minute videos, so I got to go fast. Let's save it.
All right, guys. So to finish this up, when you go to save it, number one, you want to make sure that you've done a really awesome job here. If you haven't, go back and fix anything that you might have, that you might not have completely finished before you go to hand it in. When you are ready to hand it in, we're going to go to File. We're going to go to Save As. We are going to save on your computer. Of course, we're going to save into the Google Drive and into your classroom folder. You're going to find your proper folder here where you want to save into. So it's going to be a Tech Ed folder. And you are going to save this as your first name, your last name, tires. Your first name, your last name, tires. All right? We're just going to go ahead and click Save. You can leave this as an 8. I mean, you could turn it up if you wanted, or you can leave it where it was at 8. 8's good. And just say OK. And now the final step is to actually turn it in. So this is the original file that you started with. We're going to add or create and go to Google Drive. And what should be here is the one that you just finished. So I like to just double check it. 833, 833. That is definitely the one. You know that you can always browse to My Drive as well in Classroom and find your class. And you can also do it that way too. This is it right here. Okay? Go ahead and click that. We're going to go ahead and turn it in and turn it in. And I get both of them. I get the original one that you started with. I get your finished product. And that is it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this assignment. Have a great day.